All else is a distraction for what I'm going to say in a moment. It is the reason for all of this. It is what is protected. It's the secret. This is what the secret societies know. This is what we found in the underground bases. This is what the bloodline families have protected for this long. All the spooky wooky stuff is either a distraction or simply a means of maintaining energy while this is known in order to keep the system going. And there's no way to explain this, but I'll do my best. They found a device, a machine. The only way to know truly is to see it. But we're in an age with technology rising fast enough to the point where movies and digital media can influence your consciousness or depict changing consciousness in such a way that you can kind of imagine what I'm saying, what the experience would be like. It's very difficult to even hold the experience in mind because the only way to know is to see it, and this would be like a fish all of a sudden looking around and going, what the hell is this? And like waving his fin through the water and realizing they're in water. There's a machine that cleaves time and stitches together etheric, energetic, abstract, spiritual reality. Almost doesn't make sense. Just like air and fuel. And it takes consciousness, the experience of consciousness, and physical material existence, atomic nature, the elements of physical universe, and it cleaves them together and prints them literally like a sewing machine or a 4D printer, and produces these fluctuations in etheric, psychic, energetic waves that emanate outward as the experience of having a physical body and being conscious within that body. And there's a device that generates time. It prints time. It creates it. Without the device, there is no Maya matrix. There is no universe. It is a device someone invented that creates this universe. And that when you approach it, you begin to detect, you begin to sense undulations in the subtle field of reality itself. And you detect an abstraction, a deviation between consciousness and your body, literally like in the Matrix when the fluid takes over his body and separates his consciousness from this area here and his real body outside the system. It's literally the 100% undeniable proof that we are in a kind of consciousness simulation matrix system, because if you mess with the device, the system shuts off. And this is apparently what happened a few years ago. The system shut off. So the goal is to shut it off. The point is, it would be like draining the ocean with the fish inside of it. If the fish realize what's happening and swim to a point where they can pretty much prop themselves up and the water goes down and they're standing there on the rock, on their fins, or whatever you want to call it, basically there's an extraction, they're okay, etc., so on. If they're just following the water as it goes down, everything is going to end up in the Mariana Trench, everything is going to end up trying to stay with the water as it goes down the drain. And that can't happen. It's basically a dissolution of the consciousness. They have to be able to separate the spiritual aspect from the physical aspect and not flip out and survive and stay calm knowing what's happened. They found a device that does this. They recreated them, but there is one that is tuned to this universe, and every single human and every single being, sentient being in this place is tuned to, and the undulations that it is spitting out are what we call years, and what we call days and weeks and time. It's the strangest thing because it's an abstraction of what you're looking at in itself. It's the consciousness of consciousness. There's no way to describe it, but it is everything. It is everything and it is nothing. And it's really weird because when it cuts off, the first thing is like panic, because it's basically ego death. Because the consciousness, we think we're the body, but we're not. It's all stitched together by this system that is taking two abstractions, elements of existence, material physicality and spiritual or energetic existence, and it cleaves them together. It's literally as if they come and they create this interlace, and then from there you have that grid pattern that is always depicted as the Maya matrix, the grid around the earth, or whatever you want to call it. It's as if you followed those down until you got to a little point, and there's an insertion point. On the other end of that, there's a device stitching the two together, and it's like this alien device that puts the two together and intertwines them. And point is, the experience is getting to the device and realizing what is happening. It's really impossible to describe. All I can do is describe an operation. They had us children approach it because adults basically die. And this is what the bloodlines have protected for this long. And so some people are holding people back, but at this point there's really no way to hold grudge or blame. However, that will be handled from outside the system, from those who have checked and seen what's gone on and realized some people basically said, F it, we're going to sit here and hide it, and no matter how many people die or get sucked down the drain, that's their fault. That will be handled, but we can't really tell at this point. There are those outside the system that have never been in the system that are recording it, that are in Zion, whatever you want to call it, and that have been recording everybody's actions, and everything's, there's no point to blame, because once you see it, it's the glory of all glories. You realize it's the secret of secrets. I don't want to give away any, or say any of these secret society terms, because that's what they're talking about. The cleaving of reality by the architect, which is a design system. God is a computer in this sense, in this reality. And everyone has to separate from this system in order to get into eternity, because the system has a start and an end point, and you can't get out of a start and an end point as long as you're seeing through the system. It's as weird as it is, these bodies are printed into reality by something banging on the fabric of reality and putting dots that as it reaches you and your spiritual nature, you kind of resonate with, and it's like the needle on a record, or like Braille, where there's an imprint, and that's your consciousness. You're literally like bumping across the grooves that this machine is printing out, and we're experiencing time. We think like, no, I'm making decisions, I'm doing this. So they sent us to the source, and every action that you make as you get closer to the device begins to occur in multiples, and it's literally as if reality is rippling, and you're in these fractal arrangements of experience of time. That's what these ancient drawings are, when they're like squares within squares, and there's like angles all around it, like these Aztec Mayan depictions. They found the device as well. They've discovered what it is. And when you get close to it, it's like getting close to a wave pool, where you're basically getting pushed back as you go, and you're like holding on to not a raft, but like a chain or a guardrail that's underneath the water or something like that, or on the surface, and it's literally like flapping you in the wind, and your soul and your body are separating because you're being pushed back by the device. That's what we found. I don't know how to explain it any other way. It's literally like some form of psychedelic death experience designed by a device that creates this reality in an underground base. I don't know how else to experience it, by some form of intelligence that created this universe. But we exist outside of it. At least the original humans exist outside of it. And it's really weird, but I can't describe it anymore. It's a pain in the ass, because you can get to it and you realize it's a device, and that the experience of you finding the device is being printed out by the device itself. There's basically an input of your consciousness, and then there's a taking of your intentions and a displaying of possibilities of results of this way, that way, in a multiple sense of these fractal channels that are pumped out, streamed out like streamers, or like Roman candles or something, fireworks coming out of this device, and you're in all of them. You literally see yourself like breaking into a fractal, and you pull this part of the device, and then the other part of you walks around to this end of the device, and you're splitting up in time as you're getting to it. And there's really only one, but the device is making multiple layers as you go. It's a strange thing. It's a pain in the ass, because some people can't handle it, and nobody really can. But some people survive, basically. And it opens your eyes when you see it. This is what some of this is a secret of secret societies. It's not about what some of the people who became parasites. The people that figured it out became parasites that couldn't handle it. They became overtaken by greed and lust and desires and the reality of we can do anything. It's a simulation. We can do anything. And there's like all this debauchery, basically, and molestation and shit like that, and then energy stealing because they stick around forever, become vampiric because they don't know how to handle what's going on. They separate between the spirit and the body, and the body then begins to die, and the spirit, and they have to do all this stuff. That's the infiltration. The actual knowledge is that we're in a system right here that's being pumped out by a device. And your body is resonating, ringing like a bell with the pulsation wave in tune with the system itself far in the center of this plane or underground or wherever it is that is tuned to a certain system. And meaning without the system we wouldn't be here. But it doesn't mean that that's life. It means that we're in an overlay. We're in a psychic overlay of reality, and it creates loops, basically. If you get to it, it's the strangest thing. I can't describe it. You have to see a movie where they split up the frame into multiple frame, the footage in the screen into multiple frames, and it shows like in the Matrix where he gets into the room and the dude tells him what's going on on the screen behind him. It's like, well, he freaks out, and the other one he's like, oh, interesting. The other one, and they're all actions that are all happening all at the same time, and there's one that he's the one that experiences. And basically that center of the room is they're hinting at that system, that's what's going on. And outside that room, it's weird. It's like you're swimming to the center upstream of this time device, and you're passing by all your abstraction version of selves as you're getting to the machine. But the point is, you experience multiple versions of them all at once, but you know there's one, and you have to get past all of them to the center. And if you lose focus and allow the introduction of sideways, basically parallel options or realities, you introduce, it's like a fan, a paper fan or something, fanning out multiple realities, and now you have to sit there and go through all of them. But it takes a second, but consciously it adds time within time. There's no way to describe it. And the point is, if you sat there the whole time going, oh wow, and then looking at this one and that one, you'd stay there forever. And then somebody would have to set off a device secondary to blast you back out of this core of time, this shell that you began to encrust yourself in an etheric, like a buildup, kind of crust, basically, of time waves that you got lost within. And your consciousness would stay there, and if nobody did that, you'd stay there for 40 years, and you'd come back a vegetable or a parasite thing that would try to eat everybody that was around you, and that's what happened to a lot of people. There's no way to describe it. It doesn't do it any justice, you know. But the experience is you get there and you realize that when you get there, you're getting to the future, which always exists before and after the experiences of beginning to go there. Meaning you begin to go there and you finally get there and you realize, wait a second, we printed in this device that we're going to go in, do stuff in history and life, and then come back. Whenever you're getting out of the device by going to the core of the center or somehow getting extracted and permeated through, you're literally going ahead in time. It's like a river coming back at you, so when you're going forward, there's no way to describe it. It's like you're reversing time, but creating time as you go, and the experience is that you have the memory of coming here in order to do that thing, as if you're achieving some system where some goal or some accomplishment that your soul ascertained to begin with that would be required in coming into this realm in the first place. It's basically the separation of your soul from the illusion. And there's some eternal aspect of you that's waiting in the beginning of time, in the beginning of the universe, knowing that when you go first through that cone on the other side, this artificial entryway, that you're entering into an illusion and that you must come back out of the illusion the way you came to the beginning of time and reunite with your true or original self, which never actually goes into this place. That's the best way to describe it. That we're an image of our true self in this place. We're a material clone puppet, and that when you swim through this source of time, you meet up with your real self, which never came in here in the first place, and it's as if you're dreaming and you're waking up from this cosmic dream and you're realizing the device, the fractal arrangement of experiences of time, splicing, splaying, separating and recombining over themselves, the illusion of time, of multiple things happening simultaneously, but being stuck within the system, of the actual occurrence of the system pulsing out, and then you meeting with the core of yourself. It's basically a synchro-mystic event, or a simultaneous synchronization of occurrences, which is ultimately the separation of your soul, your spiritual conscious, true conscious, spiritual awareness from the physical form, and in that sense, the entire physical matrix, the Maya. In other words, it's like an avatar system, a cartoon in the digital holographic Maya matrix system, and the cartoon goes and it pops out of the screen. It comes off of the camera reel that's being used to record it, and it's the strangest thing. Imagine you realize we go towards the source, and we're feeling our version of ourselves, an avatar system, pulsing against the record, the format, whether digital or the negative, like tape of the I guess I can't think of the word for the recording style, and you feel yourself pushing against that actual fabric, and eventually you literally feel yourself coming out through the lens of the camera into the recording system, into another world. And it's literally, you see the avatar version of yourself separating from the track, and the real you is extracted out like a reverse filtration system, like a camera's recording you, and you're coming through the lens into the recording system and back out the other end into some other reality. It's the strangest thing. It doesn't make sense, but it reverses time. It flips the time cone inside out, and there's no way to describe it. It's literally... This is the strangest thing, but it's a device that does it. That's the important part. It's a device that's doing it. It's printing time. It's printing reality into this universe. The whole upcoming thing, the only reason I'm talking about this now, the only way that I could be talking about this is what we know, this is what you begin to learn, is that somebody's entering this into the system. That's the only way this would be here now. And that means that there's probably going to be some type of wake-up event in order to bring the true reality closer to the surface. The Armageddon is when it happens and people's minds fracture and they cling to the real, okay, the negative strip of information that's holding the recorded version of them, which is just an image, and they cling to that, and that's basically going to get tossed in the trash. That can't stay around because it's going to keep attracting people, which are going to fly to it like bugs going to light. The camera doesn't beam stuff out, it pulls them in. That's why the natives would say your camera steals your soul. This device does that. It sucks you in if it still exists, and you don't understand what it's doing. Because it creates an image of you, it replicates you. It's like a consciousness entrainment replication system. It replicates you. There's a word for this. It's the system, but it does that, and it creates time. It creates false reality. It creates illusion. There's no way to say it. If you could see it now, you'd look around and you would be the fish going, oh, what the hell is this? What is water? It creates the etheric medium that our consciousness is swimming through for what we experience in so-called time. Time is temporary. It's a thing. It's a happening. Okay, time is a happening. So there's a device pulsing it out. It's not death. All I know is it feels like death when you begin to get to the core, or when somebody shuts the system off, and that you need to know how to cast away the body, that trash the motherfucker, alright? I'm trying to tell you, you hold on to it, you're going in the trash with the device. They're going to throw that shit in the trash, they're going to take the tape and recycle it, because it's a waste. Somebody did it and made this stuff. This is full of suffering. It's for sadism. It's a big sadism system. It's basically a hypercube system somebody created that pulses out Maya matrix realities that are limited. They're so limited that in a universe where you could do anything, only reason somebody would do this is because they get off on watching people torture themselves. So it's going in the trash. If you hold fear to that, to separating from the illusion, then you're going to hold on to it as it goes into the trash. Don't do that. Let it go. But also stay supremely aware. Stay to the height of awareness, because it's beyond everything we imagine. But you'll get it more and more. I'll try and possibly do another video like this. This is going to be the only video that I actually promote and pass around. Of course, it's just some guy talking about an experience that who knows what it means. But just break it down as simply as I can, or as you hear it. In these unacknowledged special acts, they put kids in the situation in an underground base where they found an alien tech system device that creates time for this universe and cleaves into a multi-dimensional spectrum, a dichotomy, a bisection of energies of physical existence and atomic reality, materiality, and it puts and filters and stitches spiritual existence, energy, soul energy into that atomic reality matrix, creates human forms out of an eternal essence, temporary forms, and it creates not only a body, but it literally creates the experience of time itself, to the point where when you mess with the device, ripples of time come out. It's going to, whenever I'm saying something like this, you'll notice I'll say as much as I can, and then I'll just repeat that as much as I can, because there's no way to describe it. It's if I punch the camera and you weeks later got a bruise developed, and then you get having dreams of like somebody punching you, and it's like a mind magic device that creates time. The point is, it's an illusion, and people get stuck in here because they forget. And whoever's managing it, if somebody was to manage it, they left. They were just like, screw him, whatever. And so we're managing it, and people from the outside are managing it and attempting to basically perform an extraction and get everybody out. That's all I can say in under 20 minutes. I'll just rant continuously and say the same thing over and over again and look even stranger than it already looks. But everything that you know, all the weird stuff, the spooky stuff, whatever, it's all to cover this up, or it's because some people became vampiric and infected by these parasitic entities that never left the machine, and they just degraded into these monstrous forms. And they pull their energy in a strange variety of ways, and as well, some of these groups have been feeding these things partially because they don't want these things to just eat humanity all at once. And some may be sold out to them for power, whatever it is. The point is, it's an extraction. It's an extraction. It's like how words, bringing the ideas, the intentions, and then my body's converting them into language, into words, and the two are kind of like jumbling together because I'm more stimulated than I am prepared to say what I'm going to say. Imagine that occurring on a fundamental level with time itself, to the point where your body in your physical existence is experiencing multiple realities, shimmering and vibrating into experience faster than your consciousness can keep up with all of them. You wouldn't think that's happening right now because you only see one. Imagine if you could see the whole thing. There's a fractal arrangement of multiple realities happening simultaneously, and they all converge and meet at a source, a point where it's emanating outward from. That center, that device, that's where the point emanates outward, and it's literally a device that stitches the two together and creates multiple fractals, and we experience it as time. The only thing I can't fully describe is the experience of actually we're getting to it. Going to the center is the device, and you split up into multiple fractals as you're getting there, and it's just the weirdest thing. You have to remain focused on getting there. If you ever stop and go, oh, look, a butterfly, and well, what's down that way? You could end up going for 80 years into these side channels of parallels, and next time you look down, you'll be a skeleton. It'll happen in a second. So the only thought you can have in your mind, in your heart and your mind, or your heart and mind, is for continuing on the direction of where you're going when you're sensing the direction or the motion of where you're going, the change, as being this reality distortion effect. All you can do is go closer and more into it until the two separate and you're free from the system. You pop out on the other end, this void space or this dimensional limitation system. There's really no way to describe it. So people call these alternate dimensions or these heaven realms. But because if you basically allow, if you delay, if you allow a distraction, if you turn away and try and get back anything, you'll literally decay. You have like this atomic molecular decay in like a rapid decay in seconds, but it takes like years, and like nobody will ever see you again. Basically, it's the strangest thing. They tethered us as children, and they have ships that can shrink down into time and space. And that's the other thing. It's like a cone of time meaning you go off and 40 years could be between here and here when it was literally like 20 minutes ago that you entered the system. But as well, it's like space, meaning you're literally like rippling in and out of space dimensionally. Like they have to get a ship that acts like a magnifying glass and it shrinks down into molecular size and back up to find you, because you'd be like rippling in between what we use as measurements, which we don't operate on these levels mentally or physically. Spiritually, you can see these things. It's like a dream. Literally the same thing as a dream, as fluttering in and out of possibilities and methods of measurement according to your perception. Perception is entirely created by the system, and we're out here on the very outer edge. I think they're shrinking the system to the point where we're all going to get smushed up against the core, and those who realize it and are brave enough are going to walk through that core, and they're going to push through, and once enough people are on the outside of the machine by going inside, possibly the whole of humanity's etheric form, our soul, the human soul, will get pulled through, kind of like a roller coaster going up the hill, and how once there's enough over the hump, the apex, the rest of it gets pulled through. Because we're all connected as a kind of a group mind of the soul of humanity. So once enough of us get through that system, we will, it'll pull everyone else through, and it won't be able to, it uses that to sustain itself in energy. It lives in the created realities, whatever entity created this device. Just imagine the Maya, the architect, the false creator, the entity, the parasites, the archons, put it all together with what I'm trying to tell you, and realize we've seen it, and it's real, and it will blow your mind to realize what's going on here, that it's a device. The experience is insane, I'm trying to tell you. We get there, and we're getting through these ripples of time-space, and we realize we're on the other end of this machine, printing the possibilities in, and it has our mind stuck in this entrainment field where we're just walking around experiencing reality, trying to get closer to the core, and it'll represent itself literally like dreams, like in the basement of some huge technological organism, or in the tunnels of some other place, or in the cave system of underground, or in Antarctica. There are literally all these overlays happening at once, and you're crawling through all of them attempting to get towards the core. Just watch Doctor Who. I'm sure Doctor Strange touched on it. I won't watch that because there's too many flashbacks from this point, and I'll watch it soon enough. But they're all trying to show you with those videos, those movies. And they're trying to show you what it really is, what's going on. It's a device, and it splits up reality and creates multiple fractal versions of you. Look at what the Mayans knew and the ancients knew. But the main thing that's weird is that when you begin to get through the ripples and you're approaching the core, you begin to realize that you're remembering the decision from the other end to come into the system in order to get out, and that you like reawaken some memory of beginning the process after it happens, which doesn't make sense. But you realize that time is backwards. This is backwards from the way time is actually flowing. It's printed, basically time is printed, like imagine that it's printed out and we're experiencing it here, and you're going closer and closer, and you're getting to the print. It's literally to you're getting to the future, time being printed in front of you. It should be we're going this way and we walk around and we're hitting reality and this is the future hitting us. Imagine literally going backwards and you're backing up and things are happening to you as you're going in reverse motion through time. It doesn't explain anything, it doesn't make sense. But that's the strange part of it. That's what it is. That basically time reverses. It goes backwards when you're beginning to, you're like reoccurring as you approach the system for the first time, as what happens when you do that begins to put itself in front of what happened before, which doesn't make any sense. But you literally find it after you you find it before you begin to find it, and you experience it backwards as you do it. So basically, once the experience is this: once you get to it, you're like, oh, I made it, I'm out. All that you know is the whole thing was an illusion, and you came in from that point forward, and you printed into reality that you're going to do that. Basically, it doesn't exist as a completion, meaning what you did to get out until you get out. Until that point, it's just like these constant swimming of possibilities, these fractals that never actually make it to an occurrence point. They don't exist. They're like dreams that are just like untethered in space. Once you get there, It makes all that you did to get there solidify based upon the fact that you got there. Meaning what happens in the future solidifies and acts as an anchor point for what happened before it. And in that sense, what happened before it happened after. It's backwards from the way we see it. Everything in this whole place is backwards. We're getting shot out of a background of a cone device that beams reality out. It makes undulation waves in the system. And the far past is the far future, the far future is the far past. And once you get to that core, they fully invert, they fully revert, and you have the experience of moving backwards through time in order to get to where you're going. The best way I can say it, and it's exactly logistically how it's described, but it's not the experiential concept of it, because experiential is just like, oh my god, you're doing this so long you can't realize what's going on, and the experience is literally like, if a group of us doing it, we're literally just becoming like, there's no way to describe it. There's no way. It makes you a superhuman, by the way, as well. You can never have fear. You can never be afraid of death. You can never. Time doesn't work for you at that point. You know it's all an illusion. You can get through anything because you put yourself there. You imagine your body there before you get there, and that's what makes you get there. Everything else happens that way. You don't realize it. You go to work or you do whatever you're going to do in the morning because it happened then, now, before you did it. That's how it really works. We don't see it this way from the physical body. Once you see it from the higher sense, you know it's that way the whole time, and you can actually guide what's happening by putting your intentions there. That's what's really going on. And that's the other aspect, is that your intentions to create one way or the other, to let the undulation of reality beaming out hit your intention in a perfect flat reflection so it beams right back to source. That's what gets you there. It projects you into the future. Climbing and doing it is not a physical thing. It's a focused thing. And if you ever angle your reflector of your projection of your mind, and the beam hits back, not like a radar going back to source, but it goes off into a parallel, you instantly beam yourself there, and you're in some alternate reality on a beach or something, trying to swim back to shore or something. It creates these dreamlike realities. It's the strangest thing. It's like the cube. When you finally angle all the sides together and don't let the light go anywhere, it makes a cross and you beam right through the center and break through. You crack through it like a diamond. All these metaphors, these secrets, these devices, the geometry, the matrix, the nature, the secret societies, it's what they're trying to describe. It's the strangest thing. I'll have to stop here because I have the feeling that in the future, somebody's going to get it. And I said enough, and in that future, some occurrence will happen, or something will happen as a result of this video, and I know because I can feel that now, because my intentions are there, that I've said enough. That's what this machine does, and that's what it is, that's what we actually are. We're not here now, we're in the future based upon our intentions of where we're going to go that line us up according to a trajectory through this four-dimensional space, and everything in between, printed. Created by a device. It exists, but it's printed. It's not the steps, the journey that gets there, it's the trajectory from the beginning. Everything else is just mapped out by this system, by the matrix, by this computational hypercube simulation. It's just a sim. The only real point is the beginning and the end. Everything in between, simulation. And that's what you realize when you get into the system, when you get to the core. You go through hours, days, decades of simulation, and the only real point is the first time you got there and you said, let's get there, and then the end point where you made it there. Everything else you realize is wrapped up by this device, and the only true versions of yourself are the one point there, the beginning and the end, the two pillars. And then it's the sun in between two pillars is this device pulsating out time. It's the strangest thing. But we're in it now, and it's a mother effort because it doesn't give up. It doesn't stop. It doesn't run out of fuel. It just keeps going. The only way to win is to break free from it, to liberate ourselves from it. Somebody designed it as a type of gauntlet for the human souls as a test against God. And wanted to say, your people will serve me, basically. Although it's really not that mystical and etheric. It's just some guy had that in mind when he made this, basically. It doesn't exist. That only exists in the person's mind that made this. As a kind of trap system. Trappist. I'm going to end that there. I'll try and ask me things about this because that's the only way it's going to become clear. But the recollection of making it to the core is the remembrance that it was all a game to begin with. And basically you got kind of trapped within this device, within this segment. And somebody pressed play and began the events of history that led up to you getting to the device. And the only way to actually get there is your intentions are navigating through these fractal layers of possibilities and swimming closer towards the source until you finally synchronize with the version of yourself that's outside of the system, the undulations that are happening after the effect of you getting there, which makes no sense, but when you get there, it all makes sense. And the only revelation is that the in-between experience of getting there is all simulation. And it's the only thing that really intends is to get there, and the when you were there, basically. And that when you were there, somewhere in between the intentions of get there, you slipped into the system. Some people did it, apparently everybody by choice, but some people got kidnapped, basically. But, and everything unlocks from there. That you break from the beach, from Antarctica, from the cave, from the underground sewer, from this matrix metallic organism inside a machine. All of them fall away, and you're in this similar, like this pristine room or something where it's the core, and you're outside the system. And it's the strangest thing. All right.